Sephardi Jews, also known as Sephardic Jews or simply Sephardim, are a Jewish ethnic division whose ethnogenesis and emergence as a distinct community of Jews coalesced in the Iberian Peninsula around the start of the second millennium. They established communities throughout Spain and Portugal, where they traditionally resided, evolving what would become their distinctive characteristics and diasporic identity. Their millennial residence as an open and organized Jewish community in Iberia was brought to an end starting with the Alhambra decree by Spain's Catholic monarchs in the late 15th century, which resulted in a combination of internal and external migrations, mass conversions and executions. Historically, the vernacular languages of Sephardim and their descendants have been Judeo-Spanish, sometimes called Ladino-Oriental, a Romance language derived from Old Spanish, incorporating elements from all the Old Romance languages of the Iberian Peninsula, Hebrew and Aramaic, spoken by Sephardim in the Eastern Mediterranean, taken with them in the 15th century after the expulsion from Spain in 1492. This dialect was further influenced by Ottoman Turkish, Levantine Arabic, Greek, Bulgarian and Serbo-Croatian vocabulary in the differing lands of their exile. Harkisha, also called Ladino-Occidental, a Judeo-Spanish variety also derived from Old Spanish, plus Hebrew and Aramaic, spoken by North African Sephardim, taken with them in the 15th century after the expulsion from Spain in 1492. This dialect was heavily influenced by Maghrebi Arabic, early modern Spanish and early modern Portuguese, including in a mixture of the two, traditionally spoken or used liturgically by the ex-converso Western Sephardim, taken with them during their later migration out of Iberia in the 16th to 18th centuries as conversos, after which they reverted to Judaism. Modern Spanish and modern Portuguese varieties, traditionally spoken by the Sephardic Bnei of Iberia and Ibero-America, including some recent returnees to Judaism in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In most cases these varieties have incorporated loan words from the indigenous languages of the Americas introduced following the Spanish conquest. More broadly, the term Sephardim has today also come to refer to traditionally Eastern Jewish communities of West Asia and beyond who, although not having genealogical roots in the Jewish communities of Iberia, have adopted a Sephardic style of liturgy and Sephardic law and customs imparted to them by the Iberian Jewish exiles over the course of the last few centuries. This article deals with Sephardim within the narrow ethnic definition. Etymology. The name Sephardi means Spanish or Hispanic, derived from Sepharad, a biblical location. The location of the biblical Sepharad is disputed, but Sepharad was identified by later Jews as Hispania, that is, the Iberian Peninsula. Sepharad still means Spain in modern Hebrew. In other languages and scripts, Sephardi may be translated as plural Hebrew. Modern Sephardim, Tiberians September Aradim, Sephardi or Spanish, Sephardis, Portuguese, Sepharditas, Sephardita or Catalan, Sephardites, Aragonese, Sephardis, Basque, Sephardic, French, Sephards, Galician, Sephardis, Italian, Sephardita, Greek, Sigma Epsilon Phi Alpha Rho Delta Iota Tau Epsilon Sigma Sephardites, Bulgarian, Sephardi, Bosnian, Sephardi, Serbian, Sephardi, Turkish, Sepharad, Judeo-Spanish, Sepharadis, Sepharadim, and Arabic, Sephardian. Definition. Narrow ethnic definition. Sephardim Tehorim. In the narrow ethnic definition, a Sephardi Jew is a Jew descended from the Jews who lived in the Iberian Peninsula in the late 15th century, immediately prior to the issuance of the Alhambra decree of 1492 by order of the Catholic monarchs in Spain, and the decree of 1496 in Portugal by order of King Manuel I. In Hebrew, The term, Sephardim Tehorim, is used to distinguish Sephardim proper, who trace their lineage back to the Iberian, Spanish population, from Sephardim, in the broader religious sense. This distinction has also been made in reference to genetic findings in research on Sephardim proper in contrast to other communities of Jews today. Termed Sephardi more broadly, broad religious definition. The modern Israeli Hebrew definition of Sephardi is a much broader, religious-based definition that generally excludes ethnic considerations. In its most basic form, this broad religious definition of a Sephardi refers to any Jew, of any ethnic background, who follows the customs and traditions of Sepharad, for religious purposes, and in modern Israel, Sephardim is most often used in this wider sense, which encompasses most non-Ashkenazi Jews who are not ethnically Sephardi, but are in most instances of West Asian origin, but who nonetheless commonly use a Sephardic style of liturgy. The term Sephardi in the broad sense thus describes the nusach used by Sephardi Jews in their Siddur. A nusach is defined by a liturgical tradition's choice of prayers, order of prayers, text of prayers and melodies used in the singing of prayers. Sephardim traditionally pray using minhag Sepharad. The term nusach Sephard or nusach Sepharad does not refer to the liturgy generally recited by Sephardim proper or even Sephardi in a broader sense, but rather to an alternative Eastern European liturgy used by many Hasidim who are in fact Ashkenazi. Additionally, Ethiopian Jews, whose branch of practiced Judaism is known as Haymanot, have recently come under the umbrella of Israel's already broad Sephardic chief rabbinate. Furthermore, in modern times, the term Sephardi has also been applied to Jews who may not have even been born Jewish, but attend Sephardic synagogues and practice Sephardic traditions.